Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and tonight we're going to have an interesting conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about Candace Owens and the real reason that I believe, or in my view, and I'm going to break down some of this from a financial standpoint and also from a societal standpoint, why I believe that Candace Owens was doomed to be fired from her job at the Daily Wire. And I'm going to break this down for you, give you a perspective. Do me a favor, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say hello to everybody. I see London in here. Shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from. Travis Allen, London Miss, Genesis, AR3, Jamia, Jermaine Trusty, Fred Woodard. I see you. And Fred is being honest. Fred said, I could care less about Candace Owens. And I agree. I don't care about Candace Owens. I care about you. And I'm only bringing Candace Owens up because I think it's an interesting lesson on the power of economics as well as what's happening in our society and how things work. So Candace Owens, in case you don't know, give me a yes if you knew that Candace Owens was just fired from her job at the Daily Wire. Let me know if you know, or she parted ways, and it was sort of a mutual parting of ways. The owner of the Daily Wire, a guy named Ben Shapiro, apparently wasn't happy. And y'all know what it is when Massa ain't happy. Massa gonna come for that ass. So she worked for a guy named Ben Shapiro. I don't know Ben Shapiro, but I know that Ben and I crossed paths. We were on a show together years ago. We had the same publicist. Back when I was on the faculty at Syracuse University, we had a publicist, a very nice lady named Wendy. And anyway, Ben has done great in his career in his own way. He's done his thing. I have nothing against what he's doing. I don't dislike the guy. But he does what he does. He's a conservative. And if you're conservative, you love him. If you're not conservative, then you may not like him. But I want to get past that point. I want to get past all the conservative liberal nonsense and kind of talk about dollars and cents. And talk about racial common sense. And talk about just a little bit about what I observed when I saw Candace Owens being released from the Daily Wire. So if you want to know exactly what happened, basically it has to do with that war. Y'all know that war that's happening across the sea. I'm not going to say the J word because I believe that even mentioning the J word can get your channels banned, stuff like that. Brother Wesley Muhammad just lost his YouTube channel because of his honesty in that area. I respect and I support him immensely. But if I do anything else with Dr. Wesley, it's going to have to be a private Zoom. There's going to be some discussions we're going to have in private because there are people that are watching, controlling these platforms. So if you want to be invited to those private discussions, make sure you get on the text list. You can text the word Boyce to 87948. Write that number down. Somebody type it in the chat. Text Boyce to 87948, and I'll let you guys know when I'm live as much as I can so that we can meet in private settings because there are people that monitor these platforms. There are people that control them and they control narratives, and the politics is just getting more intense. So Candace Owens was basically booted because she made what I think is a very honest, very thoughtful reaction to the war over in the Middle East. She basically just kind of said, yeah, this is kind of messed up. She didn't say that I don't like those people. She didn't say, I'm anti this or anti that. She didn't do none of that. Now, again, I say this as a person who ain't, if you know my history in terms of the time I've talked about Candace, I've never been a person who has been a massive Candace Owens fan. I admit I'm probably not. But I can say in this particular case, she got the Negro treatment. She got the Negro treatment that most of y'all understand. And y'all hear me when I talk about this all the time, is that how many of y'all really think you got freedom of speech on a job that for a company that's owned by somebody else? How many of y'all really think that your black ass really gonna have freedom of speech when your platform's owned by this guy? This guy who came out of that community. If you look up his history, comes from a very conservative part of that community. How many of y'all think that this man running his company is going to let you just truly have your freedom of speech and express yourself as honestly as you want? Well, we know that that's common sense. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you'll know that I think I don't believe in the fantasy or the fairy tale of free speech. I believe free speech comes with power, and I think Candace is learning that. I really do. I think Candace is going to do great on her own. She's starting her own little platforms and all that. So I support that, and I believe that this is her journey. Right, this is her journey. So again, if you think I'm here to just bash Candace Owens, that's not what I'm here to do. But I'm not here to kiss her butt either. I don't get into Democrat Republican nonsense. I have several critiques I can make of Candace Owens. But at the same time, I think that she's going to do fine. She's built a great platform, and I'm going to tell you what I see in terms of her career trajectory. So here's what's interesting about Candace. So the other day, Candace was on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about her white husband. I don't remember his name. We'll call him Tom or something. His last name is Farmer. I don't know his first name though. We'll call him Tom. He looks like a Tom or something. And she was explaining why she married him, and she said something weird like, "I don't see color," or "He's not a color," or I don't know what it. My wife is a color. My wife's a black woman. That's what qualified her for the job. It doesn't mean I would marry any black woman. She's a special black woman, but I wanted to marry a black woman. But Candace had her own perspective. She explained why she married this man. And what's interesting here to me is that Candace is a person who is a little bit is interesting and perhaps possibly even confused, because she kind of straddles this interesting fence that I've observed in terms of a pattern. There's a pattern of upwardly mobile black women who marry melanin deficient men, we're not gonna call them white boys, melanin deficient men. It ain't their fault. They ain't got enough melanin. And they end up climbing the ladder. And so here's the pattern. And it relates back to economics. It relates back to the broad perception that white males kind of run the world. So there are women like Candace, and I'm going to point out some other examples to help you see the pattern, who say, Candace has a lot to say about the black family, but she don't want to build a black family. Right? She got a lot to say about black men and black women getting together, but black men need not apply to be the husband of Candace Owens, because they're not going to get her to where she is. I mean, let's just be clear. Let's keep it 100. Candace is smart. I don't doubt that she's not a smart young lady. She's very intelligent. But how many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of y'all really believe Candace Owens will be where she is if it wasn't for her specifically chosen partnerships? How many of y'all think that Candace would be as popular, would have millions of followers, if she wasn't aligning herself with guys like this, and then guys like Donald Trump? She's pretty much been, for most of her career, up Donald Trump's butt. And that has been great for her career. That elevates you. It just does. Again, I'm not saying you can judge if it's bad or good. I'm just giving you the facts. So here's the thing. What's interesting is, as Candace is publicly fighting for her liberation and saying, "I will not be silenced. I'm starting my own platform, blah, 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 blah," I kind of almost feel like she's also a person who hasn't really lived her life as any sort of independent black woman. She's never been independent. She just hasn't. She has been, for the most part, been propelled and accelerated by the Ben Shapiro's, this guy. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. When I saw this guy, her husband, his last name is Farmer. I don't know his first name. I looked at him, I said, "I bet you he's rich." And I did a research on his background, and guess what? His father is a very, very wealthy man. His father is he's the son of Lord Michael Farmer, the founder of British trading conglomerate Metal and Commodity Company Limited. So his father was a member of British Parliament. His father is a member of British Parliament. So this was a come up. I mean, this is the fix. This is the hookup. This is the thing, right? A wealthy white man can get you into spaces that a black man can't get you. I can't get my wife into Parliament because I'm not I'm not a member of parliament, never will be. I can get my wife into other spaces. I can get her into the All Black National Convention. I can get her into the Black Business School, but I cannot get her into British Parliament, and I cannot get her next to the Friends of Ben Shapiro. But then again, the thing that Ben and I have in common is that I don't want to be around him. He don't want to be around me. So it kind of works out that way. It works out nicely. And then this pattern kind of emerges. This is a common sort of thing. Let me show you some more examples. Anybody know who this lady is? This is Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ketanji Brown Jackson is on the Supreme Court. She is a black woman. She's not African American. That's the little loophole they use when they want to get a black person in a prominent position. They find a black person, but they find somebody who's not African American. Because if you read Dr. Claude Anderson books, like we do every Wednesday night in the Black Business School, in the Black Business School, we do this every Wednesday night for Powernomics training. You'll find that there has been a specific hatred toward African Americans that is uniquely for you. You get that hatred. They don't give it to people because they come from other countries, people that come from African countries, all that. So Ketanji Brown Jackson is a woman. I believe her family's from an African country. Nothing against them, of course. I love the diaspora, but that's what it is. If she was African American, if she was a regular black girl from North New Jersey, she would not be on the Supreme Court. I guarantee it. Also, it just so happens that her husband is a sixth generation attendee of Harvard University, which harbors tremendous power on the Supreme Court. It's very hard to get on the Supreme Court if you are not wired into Harvard University. Harvard wields that power. They protect that power. They hold on to that power. That's just the reality. That's just what it is. I remember years ago when I got a call from the White House back when Barack Obama was president, and they were asking me to publicly endorse this lady named Elena Kagan. And I said, why would I endorse her? Why do I care? And they said, well, because she took the Thurgood Marshall chair at Harvard. And I said, I don't care. This lady doesn't even hire black people. Why would I support somebody? You must think I'm one of these dumb Negroes. You must think I'm one of these people that will vote for you for nothing. You must think I'm one of these people that doesn't use their brain. That's not what I do. I'm a professor. I think for a living. And I said, I see nothing in this lady's background that tells me why I would uniquely support her or endorse her as, for the Supreme Court. I don't get it. And it was kind of like they wanted me to go to my little pocket of the black community and say, hey y'all, they got this lady, she one of the good white folks. She one of the good white folks. She got the Thurgood Marshall chair at Harvard. No, but when they looked into this lady's background, it turned out that she actually had never hired a black person before. She'd hired 30-something people at Harvard Law School, and not one single person she hired was black. I said, you do understand that the KKK could not have a worse hiring record than zero. I said, you can't go lower than zero. The only thing that would make it worse is if she went around firing black people, which we don't even know she did that. So why would you ask me to support somebody who does not support people like me? It does not make any sense. But that's what Harvard, but I figured it out. I said, okay, I get the formula. I think the reason you support her is because she's from Harvard and you're protecting Harvard's power. Also, some people thought that she might be on the LGBT spectrum, possibly. And then also, I believe she was from that specific community. I can't remember that part exactly, but I think that was the case. Also, she was a woman. So there were a lot of other boxes that she checked. But let's keep going. So Candace, come up. You married the son of a British lord, so that's going to give you opportunities. Ketanji Brown Jackson marries a sixth-generation Harvard graduate. Now she's on the Supreme Court. Kamala Harris marries Dougie, who happens to be a high-powered attorney, who gets her into the White House. That's what it is. That's the come up. And then Claudine Gay, the former president of Harvard University. She has a melanin deficient husband also. So Candace follows a standard formula. Really, honestly, I would have to say to black women who really want to rise up into spaces that white men control, you're probably going to have an easier time getting there if your husband looks like this. That's just a reality. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm saying that's just what it is. And so Candace is interesting. Candace is an enigma because she's not a stupid lady. I don't think Candace Owens is stupid by any stretch. I find it fascinating that she's going into these black spaces, trying to seek acceptance. She's going on shows like The Breakfast Club and stuff like that. I find it fascinating that she has a lot to say about the black family, even though she never had any interest at all in creating a black family or heading a black family. I would imagine. I don't know if y'all think it's crazy or not, but maybe I'm the ridiculous one for thinking that maybe perhaps the people that should speak on the black family are people who are invested in the black family. What do y'all think? If you go deeper, this is all about money. Her being released from this job is all about money. You know who has the money in America. You know who has the power in America, and you know that Candace Owens going on that platform where Israel's pretty much taking control of the Republican Party. They probably used economic power to do this. You know that there's no way on this earth that she would get away with being on that platform, stating those views and even questioning what they're doing over in Israel. You can't even question it because you'll get called anti this and anti that, and you ain't got to be anti nothing. This is the game, y'all. This is what I want you to understand. See, power does not need a justification. See, I want y'all to understand how the game of power works. So Candace may have been correct in her critique, but Ben, the community that he comes from, they're blowing up his phone. They're putting pressure on this man. I'm sure they're telling him, "Hey, look, buddy, you get this lady, you got this loudmouth lady on your platform, and she's peeing in our Kool-Aid. She's blowing up our spot. She's calling us out. Oh, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not like the Negroes. We don't fund our own self-destruction. We're not like those other people. We don't support things that harm us. We ain't stupid like that. So no, nobody. If you keep this lady on the platform, then your money is going to get messed up big time. And this is not just what they did at the Daily Wire, I'm sure. They did it at Harvard University. That's why Claudine Gay got removed as president. That's why there she is. That they did it at University of Pennsylvania. They got their president removed. They're trying to get the president of Columbia University removed as we speak. And this is the thing. This is money talks. Money talks. So I believe that Candace Owens being released by the Daily Wire was connected to money. I also think that Candace is smart enough that she understands this. And I really am curious to see what the real Candace Owens looks like. I'm really curious to see what she really stands for. I'm really curious to see where she's willing to put skin in the game. See, because you can sit around and be a commentator all day if you want to, but the question is, what are you doing about these problems that you're referencing? You're referencing all these problems Black people have and why they should have an issue with the Democrats, and I get that. I do the same thing too. But then I'm like, well, are you telling me that the answer is to everybody go run and vote for Donald Trump? Is that your answer? Because to me, that just makes Donald Trump the third guy, the third melanin deficient man that you've aligned yourself with in order to secure the power of your platform. That's what Trump is. That's what Trump is for Candace, in my opinion. Candace is not a person who built an independent platform by any stretch of the imagination. She's a person who aligned herself with very prominent men who happen to be melanin deficient, who gave her who referenced her, who mentioned her on big stages, who brought her to big conferences, who did important interviews with her, and that allowed her to live off the base of the Republican Party. The same thing is true with a Roland Martin. Roland Martin lives off the base of the Democratic Party. So Candace, I'd be curious to see what Candace can do without a base at all. What is your base? What do you believe? Where do you draw the line? Who are you? And I don't know what the answer to that is. I really don't. I'm really curious to see what that, because for all I know, Candace could be going through an evolution. Maybe she's now figuring these things out. Like, I give her grace in that regard. I give her space and grace to figure out who she is, because I'm 52. She's not 52 like me. So maybe there's things she has to figure out. But one thing I can say is that this sort of weird okie dokiness, where you got people on the internet giving Black people advice and information with no end game whatsoever, that's a bunch of nonsense. I understand. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to have a big platform. You're going to have a lot of likes and follows and shares because you're aligned with these people that are big on the national stage. I get all that. But what's the end game? Where are Black families and Black people better off because they're listening to you? Where's the benefit? What are you doing other than complaining about what's already being done right now. What are you doing? Like, again, I'm not saying that she has to go out and start a charitable organization or anything. I don't know what that exactly looks like, but I do know that when you're talking about building platforms and building spaces, it's much easier to do that if you are aligned with people that already have these big platforms. And that's what Candace did. She got with guys like Trump and her husband and Ben Shapiro, and they put her on. Now she's going to be independent. I'd be curious to see what that looks like. Okay, so anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I have a new book out. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. We also have flashcards and workbooks for children. I left Syracuse University years ago to create the Black Business School. We have 162,000 students worldwide. We've taught over 10 million of our people how to buy their first share of stock. And also we have financial consciousness training every single morning. I meet with students every morning. I meet with their families every single morning to talk to you about how to elevate your economic thinking. My PhD is in finance, so I'm not playing. I understand this stuff at a very high level, and I would like for you to understand it at a high level too, because I believe deeply that managing our economics, not giving away our money, aligning our economic power is our pathway to success. If you agree with this philosophy, then feel free to join us. Just text the word money to 87948. Text money to 87948. I will send you some information on how to get your money game up. We're getting it done in the Black Business School. We're not a gimmick. We're not a joke. We are a real institution with real faculty. Now, what I'm going to do is answer a few of your questions. And then I'm actually going to talk a little bit about this whole thing with Donald Trump and his recent verdict. Letitia James, hit him hard with a $500 million payment that he's got to come up with. And I was really curious to see if Trump could actually make the payment. I was wondering. I wasn't sure. I said, gosh, this is a lot of money. Does he have that kind of money? And I'm going to tell you the truth. I think Trump does have the money. I really do. I looked at the valuations of all his properties, and it's insane. This guy owns so much shit. It's crazy. And really, Trump is also another case study about the power of economics. You might not like the guy, and you might love him. I don't care if you dislike him, if you like him, if you don't care. But the reality is that he's able to navigate the world in a certain way because he has economic power. And so, in fact, let me get a list of Donald Trump's properties and their values. And one of them I know is Mar-a-Lago, which is, I think the market value is about $250 million, but they actually dispute that it's worth that. They think it's worth more. And then there's like a bunch of others. I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't believe. I said, "Whoa, this guy!" And I think Mar-a-Lago is completely paid off. Like literally, he has no debt on Mar-a-Lago. So this dude does have the money. I mean, it's not a game, and it's going to be really interesting because also he was just able to. He was just recently able to secure a deal where he's going to take Truth Social public. And Truth Social, his social media platform, is going to go public. He owns 60% of Truth Social. And that 60% stake, according to the Wall Street Journal, is worth about $3 billion. So ultimately, how much money Trump has exactly, nobody knows because this guy's been kind of shady for a really long time. He hides, a lot of his money. He's involved in a lot of weird, shady dealings. He shouldn't be president of the United States, if you ask my opinion. But then again, neither should Joe Biden. I think that you should have a choice. But he does have the money to pay this verdict, in my opinion. I think he's going to be economically okay. Now, with that said, what I want to do is I'm going to answer a few of your questions. If you have an intelligent, thoughtful question, I'll answer it. If you're here to troll, then just stop wasting your time. Because if you're going to be a troll, just be a quiet troll. Because you open your mouth, then you're revealing how stupid you are, and I'm going to have to ban you. So don't make me ban you. Just ask an intelligent question, and I'll answer it for you. All right. So let's see here. Here's a statement from Detroit Diva. She says, Black platforms shouldn't give her any attention at all. I'm not saying that she's always wrong, but she's a Black supremacist due to her marriage. She's trash. Okay. Well, that's not really a question. I mean, that's your opinion. I respect that. Do I think she's trash? I'm not going to call somebody trash. What I am going to say is that Candace Owens is interesting. She's interesting. She is a Black beneficiary of the fact that Republicans are constantly trying to prove they're not racist. So because honestly, I don't believe that they're racist in the way that you think. People run around and they talk about Trump supporters killing Black people and all this other stuff. I don't know of a single instance of a Trump supporter killing a Black person. I think that if you just disagree with somebody, just say you disagree with them. Stop making things up. right? This nonsense, the Proud Boys going to come kill us all. I know plenty of black people who've been killed. Most of them were killed by other black people, and that's a reality that nobody talks about. I don't think in politics we have real honest conversations, and that's just the world we live in, and that's why nothing gets done. All right, so let's see here. If anyone can grifter and get people to give him money, of course he has money. Now, well, I don't know. Truth Social, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of Trump supporters that are buying shares of Trump's media company, Truth Social. That is true, and I guess you can call them grifters. I guess at the end of the day, don't support things that you don't believe in, and put your money in places that you do believe in. Let's see. Oded says, "Do you believe the Democrats have someone other than Joe Biden in mind, since he seems somewhat lost at times?" Yeah, I do. I believe that their end game is, I think they're going to have someone else come in at the last minute and take his place. I cannot see him doing another term, but he has a brand name recognition that I think that they feel beholden to, and that's going to be part of the problem. All right, so let's see here. Someone says, "I'm starting to think Boyce doesn't read." No, I read all the time. Thomas says, "Israel already owns the Democratic Party, owns it." Well, I don't know if I'd say that. I think that what's interesting is that um, this situation with this war and the range of critiques that I've seen on this war really speaks to how the country's changed. Because years ago, that war, they've had wars like this before. They've had situations that were just as bad, 5, 10, 15 years ago, but it was never ever reported in the media. And so the fact that they're even reporting it and talking about it says that the country has actually come a long way. So I'm not as pessimistic there. Let's see here. Dr. Boyce, if there's someone else in mind, who would you think it would be? Uh, I'm gonna think maybe the obvious might be a Kamala Harris, but I think the question is she electable? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Kamala, I'm not gonna lie. But honestly, I kind of feel like sometimes for women, when women get into positions of power, we find some reason to just dislike them. Even though they didn't do anything. Like I saw somebody getting mad because they said they just didn't like Kamala's laugh. That's weird to me. If I'm going to critique somebody, I'm going to critique you on something other than your laugh. Maybe you can talk about some of her history in terms of policing and stuff like that. Maybe you can question her qualifications if you want, but to just say I don't like her because she has a weird laugh, I think that's kind of strange. All right, so let's see here. What else? What is your theory on black people creating their own political party, and can it be successful? Yeah, you know what? Dr. Claude Anderson also believes that we should have our own political party. He doesn't believe we should put up a candidate. He just believes that the party should form a political base that can be where that vote can be, or the vote of that base can be negotiated in exchange for tangibles. He believes that we don't fight for specific tangibles when we vote. I'll admit I don't have enough of an interest in politics to want to lead something like that. I don't even know if I could. I'm not political. I don't know how to make everyone happy and make everyone think that I like you. If I don't like you, I'm going to end up telling you. And I alienate a lot of people, and I do that deliberately because I only want to hang out with the people that really want to be here. The idiots can go and I don't know, sit in the corner or something. All right, so let's see here. Next question. Do you believe it's a strategy? Which part's a strategy? I'm sorry. You got to help me understand that. I'm thinking Gavin Newsom. Okay, Gavin Newsom, possibly. I mean, possibly, yeah. I don't see why not. Dr. Boyce, in your own opinion, who would be her running mate? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I thought Michelle Obama might run. If Michelle Obama ran, I think she would win. I really do. I just think that she doesn't have the patience for the nonsense. She's got a little too much substance for American politics. American politics is pretty stupid. Honestly, it's a bunch of Neanderthals, throwing mud, throwing poop at each other. It's so primitive in terms of how people behave. They don't listen to each other. They just sit back and fight back and forth. They believe everything that their candidate says, but find some reason to not believe everything the other party says. And it's really just like gang warfare in a way. And I just think Michelle Obama is intelligent enough to understand both sides of an argument, which that right there is going to minimize your ability to get elected. You kind of have to be stupid to become president in this country. You can't be a smart person. Let's see, came in late. Did he say why she was fired? Yeah. Okay. So basically, my theory on Candace Owens and why she got fired, and actually, that's a good cue for me to go ahead and finish up our conversation. And by the way, I do this podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and Apple and look up my name, you'll find it there. It's called the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. I believe Candace Owens was fired over money. I believe that I believe that there are people that are pressuring the Daily Wire and basically saying, look, we're using our economic power from our community to support our agenda. And you can't have this prominent platform that has influence over conservatives, which is the base that supports us the most. Ben Shapiro. That's Ben Shapiro. That's the guy who runs Daily Wire. And Ben, again, I have a little bit of experience with Ben because we had the same publicist about 10, 15 years ago. And I believe that they told him, look, buddy, you keep this lady around. We're not going to support you anymore. And I think that Candace is getting, she got her Paul Mooney wake up call. She did. But I think also at the same time, I hope she's grown enough to understand the game she was playing. You live by the white man, you die by the white man, right? And so most of her career, it's these peculiar partnerships that have led to her upward mobility. Again, you got a husband whose father is a British lord. That wasn't by accident. You hung out with people like Donald Trump. That's not an accident. And then you have this alliance with Ben Shapiro, which worked when it worked. But I think that what might be occurring is that Candace is realizing that she should have her own voice and not just be the voice of white males in blackface. You see that's the thing. And it happens on the Democratic side too. You have black people that are so committed to their political party that they don't really forgot how to be black. The only time that they're black is when their blackness is in alignment with the agenda of their political bosses. Tell me if you understand what I am saying. The only time it's okay to be black is if my boss allows it. I can be black. Look, if I'm Candace Owens, I can be extra black, extra hood, whatever I need to be. If my goal is to explain how Joe Biden incarcerated more black men than any president in American history, I can be black. They give me permission to be black if I talk about that. I have permission to be black when I talk about things like defunding the police and how a lot of black people get killed by other black people and they're not doing anything about urban crime. I'm allowed to be black when I can complain about the Democrats, basically. I can be black when it comes to complaining and explaining how this undying allegiance to the Democratic Party has been absolutely detrimental to black people in the black family. That's when Candace is allowed to be black. But the only time you can't be black is when you act like you actually got a brain in your head that's independent of Republican thinking. When you misalign your Negro behind from the agenda of your political bosses, they're going to remind you who owns the company and who does not. They're going to remind you, oh, that this is Daddy Ben's house. You thought it's like when Pinocchio thought he was a real boy. No, you ain't no real boy. You're a girl, but I'm gonna call you boy because you're not. You really think you have real power in here? You think that you'd have those 4 million followers on Twitter if it wasn't for me? You think that if me and Donald Trump and all of my allies had not backed you, that you wouldn't have the power that you have right now? You think you got this independent? You think you got this on? You think you got real power? No, you don't have real power. You have the proximity to power. That's what you have. And this is a mistake. This is something people don't understand about power. There's a difference between having real power, authentic power, and having proximity to power. There's a difference between being an electric company that generates its own power versus being a lamp that only appears to have power because it's plugged into the fucking wall. If you're the lamp and you're plugged into the wall, you only have power as long as the plug continues to hook you up. If the plug decides they don't want to give you power no more, then you ain't got nothing. So with Candace Owens, her power is linked to the Ben Shapiros of the world. Her power is carried by the Donald Trumps of the world. Her husband being the son of a British lord and a multi-millionaire, that gave her proximity to power. And I think that by Candace speaking up on this war, it's going to create a real dilemma for her. I think that she's got some stuff. She's got some assets now. She can pop off with her own social media platform, and I believe that a lot of people will follow and support her. And I just hope that as she builds real power, that she truly stands up as a person that truly advocates for the Black community. Like, really get out here and really do this thing. Like, stop only being Black when the Republicans let you be Black. It makes me as angry as when the Democrats do it. The Democrats will exploit your Blackness until the end of time, and every sentence that they make that includes Black people always ends with, make sure you vote. Make sure you show up and vote, y'all. Make sure you vote for Biden. Vote blue no matter who. Vote blue no matter who. Vote blue no matter. Man, get out of my face with that nonsense. So what you're doing is you're using me the same way a pimp uses a prostitute. You're coming to a community that's full of trauma. You're coming to a community that's struggling. You're coming to a community with low self-esteem, and you're manipulating that trauma. You're re-traumatizing them with imagery and commentary that is very painful to listen to, and you're scaring them. And then you say, well, you could be safe if you just come vote for me. I don't know a single Black person, and I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad when I say this, but I don't know a single Black person whose life ever improved because they voted for a Democrat or voted for a Republican. I just don't. I don't. But I know plenty of Black people whose lives improved when they structured their own values. I know plenty of Black people whose lives improved when they took care of their damn families. I know plenty of Black people whose lives improved when they got up and opened a damn book every day and worked hard for their goals. I know plenty of families whose lives have improved because they saved and invested their wealth. I know many people in my community whose lives have improved because they became financially literate. I know many people whose lives have improved because they went and got healing and therapy to deal with the trauma, to get it out of their system, to learn things like conflict resolution. I know many people in my community whose lives have improved when they learned how to take care of their physical health and started eating the food that they need to eat instead of eating whatever is advertised on the fucking TV set. That's what I've seen. I've seen many people's lives improve when they operate truly as independent Black people and stop worrying about what white folks think. That's what stop trying to align yourself with other people. Now, again, I don't dislike Candace. I really don't. She's younger than me, so I don't fight with children. I just don't. But what I am going to say is that when you're talking about this stuff, we got to decide: are we going to be some serious people, or are we going to be a damn joke? Are we going to carve our own destiny, or are we going to simply have our destiny carved by other people? Are we going to choose our direction, or are other people going to tell us which direction to choose? So if you are in that category of being Black and choosing your own direction and choosing your own destiny, I commend you. I commend you because it's going to be harder for you. You're not going to get the hookups the way Candace did. Candace hooked up with Ben Shapiro, so that gave her a multi-million-dollar platform. She hooked up with Donald Trump. He put her on TV. She married the son of a British mogul or monarch or lord, a British lord. That gave her some opportunities. My wife, you know what? She married a traumatized Black man who gets up and busts his ass to work his butt off every day. She married a man who loves the shit out of her. She married a man who stands on his own feet, who takes pride in what he's got. Even when he didn't have much, he took pride in it. She married a man who puts knowledge in his brain every day. She married a man who would die defending her and the family. She married a man who can't get her into the White House, but I can go build her a damn house. That's what my wife married. She got in the struggle, in the mud with me, and we built a Black family. We built a Black institution, 100% Black owned, and it ain't got nothing to do with what Ben Shapiro or Donald Trump thinks about me. That's what we did. It was harder, but that's what we did. So when Candace Owens talks about the black family, she is not qualified to do so because this lady can't even build a black family. Again, I'm very happy for you that your husband is the son of a British lord, but that means absolutely nothing to people like me. I don't give a damn if your hubby can get you into parliament because I'm not trying to get into that. I don't care if your husband can get you into the White House. My wife said, I want a man that can get me into the Black House. So that's the difference. That's what I see when I see Candace Owens. And I believe she got fired because she got to playing with those people's money. And we know who's running that Daily Wire. Ben and his community. Go look up Ben's Wikipedia page, and the first paragraph tells you what community he grew up in. And they're not going to let no little black girl get on their platform talking crazy about their agenda. And I'm not even mad about it. That's their right. Why? Well, because if anybody understands that money is power, it would be me. I happen to have a PhD in money. So I understand money at a scientific level. And I can tell you that is why Candace had to go. Maybe now she'll truly be free. Maybe now we'll see a better version of her because the version I've seen so far hasn't been impressive. Anybody can go and marry Tom Ford and then rise up the corporate ladder. That's easy. Show me how you can build a damn ladder. Then I'll be impressed. I'm done, guys. Thank you for listening. God bless you. I hope you guys have a great day. Please hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And also don't forget this podcast is on Spotify. If you look up Boyce Watkins, you can find me on Spotify and Apple. Again, not corporate. We're independent. So your support means everything. Also, I have a training that I did called How to Make Money Without Working. I'm an expert on stock options. We are having a stock options summit in Los Angeles coming up. A lot of our students are quitting their jobs. I'm not playing. I'm not joking. They really are. Because I can't teach fluff. I teach real stuff. There's so many people out here on the internet who have no training in finance, who claim to be financial experts. You can look my whole PhD up on the internet if you want to. So I'd love to help you. My goal is to educate and support as many people as possible. The Black Business School doesn't cost much. Everything ain't free, but we do have free stuff. And we'd love for you to take a look and join us. So if you'd like to get deeper into what we're doing, just text the word money, pull out your phone, text the word money to the number 87948. Send a text message with the word money to 87948. I promise you, it'll change your life immediately. And those of you who've already had your lives change, if you could say something in the chat to let others know that we're legitimate here, I would really appreciate that. So God bless you. My website also is drboycebooks.com. You can get a copy of my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys soon. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.